You are listening to the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we discuss all things related to healthy, joyful, and life-giving relationships. Why focus on relationships? Because the quality of our intimate partnerships and close connections influences our health, happiness, and longevity more than anything else in our lives. Relationships matter a lot, so together, let's jump into the mud, aka our messy relationships, pull some weeds, plant some seeds, and create an enriching environment where strong relationships can take root. I am your grateful host, Dara Posner. I am a relational disaster working toward relational mastery. I am also a positive psychology coach, a relational mindset coach, a blogger, and now a podcaster. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we discuss all things related to healthy, joyful, life-giving relationships. If you are a fan of this podcast, please subscribe, follow, like, review, and share. Your engagement in this way is crucial to the success of the podcast, and I appreciate you taking just a few seconds to support my mission, which is to help people like you flourish in life and love. Today on the Embrace the Mud podcast, we are wrapping up our series, Relational Weeds. Weeds are behaviors that essentially pollute our relationship. They breed disharmony, they cause resentment, and really they just have no productive value at all. Today's final weed is judgment. When we judge our partners, we are forming negative opinions about them or how they live or how they are based on our own standards and beliefs about how we think they should be or live. Why do we judge our partners? What's the impact of our judgment, and what can we do instead so that we can connect and experience deep intimacy with the person that we love? That's what we're covering today, so let's dive in. Have you ever been observing your partner's choices or behaviors and finding yourself judging them? I know I have. I can remember lots of times where I have been judging my husband, and there have been times where I have wisely worked through that judgment internally, and there have been times where I have unwisely communicated that judgment to my husband, subsequently alienating him from me. Judgment is not a behavior in relationships and in marriages, particularly negative judgments. That's what we're talking about here. Just to be clear, negative judgments about our significant others is something we want to avoid. First, we'll talk about why we tend to judge, and then we'll talk about the impact that it has. So first of all, why do we judge our partners? Why do we judge our spouses if we're married? Oftentimes, for me and what I've observed in myself and the people that I work with, is that we judge because we fall short of fully understanding what it is that we're looking at. That's my short answer. When we're judging our partners, we think we understand something that we actually don't understand. Where we get caught and where we don't do further investigation, or why we don't do further investigation rather, in order to fully understand what it is that we're seeing, is because we believe we know things. For instance, we believe we know what is best. We believe we know how a person should be in order to get certain outcomes, or what they should do in order to get certain outcomes. We enter into a moment of observation already having conclusions in our mind based on our own standards and our own preferences. And we use those as a baseline of fact. So if we observe our partner taking a nap in the middle of the day when there's a long list of things that have to be done around the house, we draw the conclusion that they are a lazy person. That's the judgment. You are lazy. There's stuff to be done, and you're taking a nap. Instead of asking, why, when they have all these things to do, are they choosing to take a nap right now? Because now they're going to be behind. They're going to have a lot more to do tomorrow, and they might get stressed out. We don't offer any inquiry for deeper understanding. We automatically assume we know what's going on. Clearly, it's because they're lazy. Now, you can see how this doesn't exactly create a very healthy, joyful dynamic in a relationship, especially if we're communicating that judgment. And sometimes we don't have to explicitly communicate it. We communicate it in other ways through our behavior, the way we treat that person. Because now if we're starting to see our spouse as a lazy person, the way we interact with them could shift and become more negative, maybe more hostile, maybe less respectful. Because that's the ultimate result when we fall into a habit of judgment, is we end up losing respect for our spouse. So whether it's that they take naps or it's that they eat a lot of donuts. And oftentimes we judge our partners because we're projecting on to them something that we're not accepting about ourselves. So I'll use myself as an example. I used the nap on purpose because I actually did experience that. It used to really, really bother me if my partner was taking a nap in the middle of the day. I never took naps. I never, ever took a nap in the middle of the day unless I was sick, or, there was a very clear reason, like I didn't sleep at all the night before. And so I would have a really hard time when I would see my partner taking a nap in the middle of the day, especially when there were things to be done. But if it was sunny outside, you should be outside enjoying the fresh air. It's a Saturday. Why are you inside taking a nap? And when I really stopped to ask myself, why do I get so judgmental about this particular choice? It took me back to when I was really, really young, growing up with my own mom, and how I would get treated when I was tired in the middle of the day and wanted to take a nap as a teenager. And I always received really critical, negative feedback for that. And I was told that I was lazy. I internalized that. I stopped allowing myself the opportunity to take rest when I really wanted to maybe just veg out and rest. Yes, even in the middle of the day. And now I was projecting that onto my partner. So my work became having to learn to let myself take a break, say, you know what, I can do those dishes later. I'm going to relax right now and give myself, the freedom to make choices like that. And so sometimes it's just some inner work that we have to do to stop judging our partner. Other times it's fear-based. We might have a dream towards accomplishing a vision that we want to share with our partner, right? We want to have a certain lifestyle together. We want to accomplish certain things together. And when they make certain choices that aren't in alignment, according to our point of view, with that vision, we get scared that it's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to do the things that we want to do. There are hopefully things you've explicitly said and shared. We both want this, right? We want to be healthy. We want to have a certain lifestyle. We want to, buy a house. And then you see your partner spending money on things that you don't think are necessary, right? And so then you start deeming them irresponsible. Whatever it might be, there could be a fear, right? And so really getting in touch with, why is this scaring me so much? And then other times we judge our partners because we have our own standards for ourselves that we just think are best, and not just for ourselves. We start to think that's just what's best for everybody. And we want to impose our standards on other people. And the danger of that is our spouses don't feel like they can just be themselves. They have to be just like us in order to be acceptable and to feel loved and to feel free to make choices in front of us that are according to their own set of standards and their own preferences. And so we really need to just recognize that we're judging, first of all, and try to work out with ourselves why we might be doing that and get honest. And sometimes communication is necessary. Hey, it really scares me when I see you spending money because we have these goals and, I feel like we're going to get behind. It's going to be that much longer. Can we talk about it? As opposed to, how can you be so irresponsible? I can't believe you, right? And judging your partner or harboring that judgment, not saying anything, letting it fester and causing you to lose respect for your spouse or your partner. That would not be good. So again, what you can do when you catch yourself in judgment, in negative judgment of your partner, really asking yourself, okay, is this something I struggle with within myself, right? Could this be a projection and something that I need to give myself more permission around or relax around a little bit more? Is this coming from a place of fear because we have a dream or a vision for the future, something we want to accomplish or experience together that I feel this threatens? And then talk to your partner about it. Or could it be that I'm imposing my standards for myself, my own life, what I want to do to be a healthy person, what I want to do to be this way or that way? And am I trying to impose what I think is best onto my spouse and not creating freedom for them to decide what their own standards are for their own life, their own body, their own goals, lifestyle, etc. If you are on the receiving end of judgment from your partner, you can sort of reverse that and try to see where their judgment might be coming from. You can ask yourself, what could be scaring them about this choice that I make or this way of being that I have? I recognize that they have these standards, and they're good for them, and I'm glad that they have those standards. How can I communicate to them that I want to support them and their standards? I want to be an encourager for them, but I don't agree that that's how I need to live too, and talk to them about that, right? So really addressing the fact that you're feeling judged and that makes you feel unable to be yourself comfortably without feeling like there are eyes on you and you need to make certain decisions in order to be acceptable to your partner, and how you'd really appreciate more understanding and maybe explain to them where you're coming from so that you can offer them the understanding that, they currently don't have, maybe think that they do, and they're drawing the wrong conclusion, and having conversations about that, because nobody likes to feel judged in a relationship. That doesn't create safety, that does not foster a deep sense of connection. And so it's really, really important to address that with your spouse or partner if that is something that you feel that you are experiencing. So that is all I have on our last weed of the series, Relational Weeds, Judgment. We will be starting a new series on essential relational skills that we all need to develop starting tomorrow. So I'll be back here to begin that series with you then. In the meantime, please remember, you are wired for love and connection. You are capable of love and connection. You are worthy of love and connection.